people. These are deputations and they're 10 minutes. And thank you to this group for giving us all of the information in advance. It's incredibly helpful. So if you would like to say anything else that you would like to add to that, and then we'll...
Thank you, Deputy Mayoress, and thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me the opportunity to come back. This is not my first deputation regarding the Christchurch International Hub. In fact, I was here a year ago and I spoke to Councillor Goff, Chin, Livingston, and Councillor Yanni. But anyway, I am here to make another appeal because, as you will well appreciate, the matters that we're dealing with in regard to assisting businesses, and my colleague here, we work a lot with displaced ethnic businesses. In fact, we volunteered our time all of last year assisting communities who have been displaced, market operators, backpack operators, people who used to work in the CBD, restaurateurs, and to see what we can do to assist them. And so we have come to discuss this solution, a one-stop gap solution we feel would be able to assist people by looking at a concept of this Christchurch International Hub. And I just wanted to put the matter into context by sort of bringing it home by having David, who used to own a language school, just describe what he's had to go through in terms of trying to relocate his business, which of course works in the same area with international students.
Thanks, Tass, and thanks to the Deputy Mayor and the councillors for the opportunity to come in. I'm one of the examples of people who have been displaced. We've moved at least 3 times since the earthquake. At the moment, we've got premises in Mona Vale Avenue, and it's really a lovely location, but it's too small for what we need. And also, I'd like to say thank you to the council because twice now they've given us resource consent to teach in residential areas, but there are problems with insurance, and anyway, the number of... we really want to get back into the city. We've been going a long time. We've survived because we've diversified and we've had tertiary education commission contracts to teach workplace literacy and numeracy, and anyway, we teach lots and lots of migrants. We find that being in the suburbs is a real handicap. We're one of the fortunate ones because we haven't got all our eggs in one basket, the international market, I mean. The fact that we've got the government contracts has enabled us to survive because I remember before the earthquake there were over 30 English language schools in the city. There might be 5 or 6 left, and I think that loss of those students really robs the city of a sense of vitality. I feel that anything we can do with this special international hub, if we can bring the young people, overseas students, back into the centre of the city, it'll add more than just money. It'll add that sense of vitality. Lots and lots have been written and said about how sad the inner part of the city is, but if we could follow this project through to bring young people back, it'll certainly add to the attractiveness and be a real boost in the it'll be an increase in the optimistic outlook and the rebuilding of the central part of the city, because at the moment people like myself and other businesses have moved west. They've gone out to Riccarton, and we're in the situation now where we're a bunch of suburbs looking for a heart. You know, anyway, I've said enough.
Yeah, all right, no problem.
Thank you, David. Thanks very much.
Yeah, that's great. So I just wanted to say, of course, you will need no educating about the impacts that the earthquakes have had, and I'm quite pleased that the forum is focused on solutions. Now, we have put forward this proposal, and I'm pleased that Councillor Lonsdale is sitting here as well, because you will have experience in helping earthquake-affected businesses, having championed and been behind the Restart More project. So we feel that anything we can do, which is whether of a temporary nature or helps us to look forward and helps communities move forward, will be helpful for their livelihoods. It is our intent to help relocate over 50 business owners, as I've mentioned, the types of businesses. And I believe that the benefits of co-location in a market area of this sort, which we're proposing, would bring business and owners and customers together, stimulate activity and economic growth with low overheads, joint promotion, and shared capital investment. And therefore, in that respect, it's a very sensible solution to alleviate an immediate urgency that exists for many displaced operators. Speaking of businesses located in homes, that again is adding pressure to the competition for the homes that are required by people looking for homes. And I think also that there's an opportunity to put our city on par in terms of being able to promote our city as a place for migrants and for the international workers, for students who are coming. So we've already received support from the CPIT, which has lots of students, and they're constrained by a lack of premises, backpacker operators, and Tim Hunter has written a support letter, which you saw, and you'll be interested to know as well that, you know, in Akaroa, they're receiving a lot of cruise ships which have been diverted from Christchurch because of a lack of visitor destination points. So, you know, I guess in essence, it's just a matter that a center of this sort would serve many uses in terms of creating jobs and helping with tourism.
I'm just thinking that it would be sensible if we got the questions, but,
Yeah, sure.
because there is such a... Could I
Sure.
just start before Jimmy does? This proposal that you've given us is specific to a site in Wells
Yes.
Street.
Yes,
Does
it
it
is.
need to be?
It doesn't need to be, but I have chosen that site for a number of reasons because of its proximity to the retail precinct, to CPIT, current shopping malls, and the arterial routes, and also with its zoning being mixed use, it means that we could also have inner city accommodation such as backpackers. Sure.
But if the site is going to be perhaps used for other things, are there other sites that this could go on? And what would you actually need to make at least the market part of this happen?
Well, I think we'll just need an approval on a site. My understanding, at least from the last council, was that there seemed to be no other alternative sites, but I could be wrong in that respect. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I've tried to look through the private sector and either very inhibitive in terms of costs or we have to go much further outside the CBD. I think it would be sort of sensible, yeah.
Roger Sutton, would like to support, but my understanding, original, the city council, all the kind of the central city recovery plan, we have put into the international the quota in there. But after that, Sarah, they take a lead, to the Christchurch Central Recovery Plan, they take away. So what is the Sarah's the response?
Well, Sarah is supportive in principle of the proposal. However, they've indicated that given the number of anchor projects and government projects that they have to look after, that they haven't necessarily got a site that they can allocate to us. But perhaps brokering with council might make sense in this respect to see what alternatives they actually have.
Second question is, because this time probably is the third time you have a kind of presentation. Previous time, I remember we requested your presentation, to the staff, whether you have engaged with the council staff, whether you get any response from them, and through the normal process, request a proposal, you can, give your proposal to the staff.
Well, that has been one problem I've faced, is that the council staff member who has been tasked with this has not been very forthcoming, and I'm not sure what reasons are behind that, but we've certainly tried, and there was discussions that he was working on a tender document at the end of last year. That has never been furnished to us. So, it's difficult if we are trying to do something and you don't seem to be getting the support you require, you see. Well, my initial request would be that if we were to set up a temporary market even if from the region of at least 2 to 3 years, it would certainly help us to get some momentum.
Last one. Okay. Up to now, how many business group, community group, and the multicultural group have engaged with you and support this idea?
Well, I've got their signed expressions of interest here, which we prepared, and we're looking at well over 50 business owners. Yeah.
Right, I guess for us, it would be really good to know Sarah CCDU. They've got heaps of land in the central city. They're the biggest landowner in the central city by far now. They've taken, or we've given them roads, and they've just got unlimited space really, where there's a need for activity to happen. So, when did you approach Sarah CCDU? Have you been to them recently?
Yeah.
And is there anything we can get in writing from them over, possibility of support or assistance? Because if I think of the Restart Mall, for example, and you look at Cashel Mall, it just seems there's huge areas in the central city that they really have control. This is probably one of the few sites we actually have left in public ownership, and we are going through, so I understand a request for proposals process, but we're very constrained in terms of what we have. They seem to have a lot, so I was concerned for you to say that they said they didn't have.
Yeah, we can certainly go back, but it does feel like going back and forth without getting any progress. So, yes, if we could work with council to get Sarah's indication and certainty of what is available or not available, that would be helpful.
Maybe we could, as an outcome of today's meeting, I would like us to approach Sarah CCDU about areas of land.
Okay. Yeah.
So just to enable you to move forward, the bottom line is, if we could come up with you with a piece of land that we could lease, and if it was temporary 2 to 3 years, you would not need any financial or other input from this council at all. All you need just to get, say at this stage, the market going. Yeah. So that's all you need.
Absolutely, because we've engaged so many private investors, bankers, all sorts of people, architects, lawyers. We have enough of that crowd, so we just need land. Yeah.
Okay, so right. Thank you. That's all. Yeah.
Look, I think I set up the market and Restart, and it is difficult to set up markets, but what we did in the end is we brought the market to the council street, so it's actually sitting on council land. And my suggestion to this council is perhaps we look at street lines that we can actually activate around existing businesses, and I'm talking maybe New Regent Street. There's that they need a lot of help. There's also Lower High Street where again they need a lot of help, and we need to activate the street line. So aside from land, we could actually assist in getting the use of some public space for a temporary,
so just before
just to generate some income, so we could look at other options.
Yeah, that'll be good. We'll be happy to put marquees and make some sort of a start. We're very can do in that respect. Can I just ask a question before I go? So in terms of the actual Well Street site, what's the status quo on that at the moment?
It has about 5 proposals for it. So that's why I'm just looking at, you need some land, and there is plenty of land in the centre of town at the moment, and there is a dearth of activity. So you want to put activity on land, there's plenty of land and no activity. It doesn't seem that hard to me, actually. So what I'm going to suggest that we do is that Jane will undertake that's one of the appropriate staff person will ring you by the end of the week, and we'll start working with you, and then in 2 months' time this will come back to this committee. Does that work for you, Taz?
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah, certainly I think giving us a certain direction would assist the community, definitely.
Be clear though, we're currently in an RFP, Jane. I guess this question.
But
We're currently open for RFP. Have we released the RFP document?
but we have not received that.
So what's the hold up? Because this is like the fourth time I've heard from TAS. Last time when we heard from them, we said, well, we're going through an open public process for people to put in RFPs, and that's the appropriate way for us to weigh up the different options. It just doesn't seem to be getting any traction. So, maybe when the person gets back to TAS, if they can give them some timeframes around that document and processes.
Well, yes, eventually such a center has to be located in a permanent space, but yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Are you okay if we do that?
Yeah, that'll be a good start. Yeah, that'll be a good start. Okay, wonderful. All right, thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you.